In the last video, we saw how to create a grid with rows and columns, and this is what we created: two rows, two columns for each, and by default, it gives equal spacing to all the columns. Now, let's look into the same code. Okay, say I want to give this the first column of the first row just one grid space. So the screen is by default divided into 12 grid spaces, right? 12 sections by Bootstrap. So I want it to take only one part of that 12 and the rest to go with this pink grid. Okay, so what I can do is I can call it, uh, first of all, I'll change the name inside this. So I'll call it call one, right? So I'll just add -1, -1 to -12. I can add anything. You can see all the examples here: -1, 10, 11, 12, -LG1, -MD1, -SM1. I'll explain that in a while, but you can put in -1 to 12 anything. So I'll put in -1 here. I'll keep it call as it is for the second column, right? Let's see what is the output. I'll refresh the page. You can see one column is taken by this, the purple grid, and the rest is taken by pink. Okay, if the text doesn't fit in, the text will go to the next line. If I start reducing the size, it will still take one part of the entire screen available. I'm reducing the size of the screen. Now you can see the text is being cut. That is because grid cannot be further broken down into smaller words, so that it can go into the next line. So it's cutting those words, right? So this is how -1 default works. For all screen size, it gives one part of the 12 parts of the screen, right? Similarly, if I put in 2, it will give two parts of the screen, three parts of the screen. So it works great for full size screens. May not work as you expect for smaller screen, and that is why you must use the breakpoint, right? So if I would have used a breakpoint here, right? So what I'm telling here is call -LG-1. I'm telling here is follow this, anything after the LG, only until LG. LG stands for large, right? So only for large screen size and beyond, make it 1. Otherwise, make it auto. Okay, I'll explain you what is auto. The second row, I'll call it, the first half I'll call it auto, and the second half I'll call it auto 2, right? This is also auto, both are auto. Auto basically takes, automatically divides the, gives equal spacing to all the columns, right? So auto is same as not putting anything, right? But say if you want, yeah, so coming back to our first case, right? uh, so so if I say, if I want, for large screen, if I want it to be 1, otherwise auto. Let's see how that works out. Okay, so this is large screen. What is this? This is 1300 approximately, the width of the screen. I start reducing the screen, and at about 995, it will get into the space where it's no more large screen. It becomes a medium size screen. Okay, and you can see it here. Here it is giving it one part of the 12 parts of the screen, while here it's giving it entire screen. That is, it is setting it to auto, right? It's So that's how this works. So if I would have uh, given this also -LG1, let's see what would have happened then. I'll refresh the page. Nothing happens. Both of them work like auto onto small screen, okay, on medium and small screen. For large screen, they take one part each and leave the rest of the space. They are taking the space from the left hand side. They're not centering themselves. That is largely because of the second row, I believe. Let's try to remove the second row. I've commented out the second row. Let's see now. It's still taking the left hand side. So basically it takes space from the left hand side, right? And say if I had added auto in front of the first one, or how would it behave, right? I have set it to auto. Let's see how it behaves. Okay, so auto is taking the space of the text. Okay, so I'll put in auto here in the text as well. So it's taking the space of the text. Okay, while if I remove auto, it will give the rest of the space to purple. Sorry, yeah, if I remove auto from here, it will give rest of the space to purple, and pink will have one part of the 12 parts, right? So that is how grid column numbers work. So column with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and so on will give that much of space to that particular column div for all screen sizes. While if you want to restrict it to anything beyond large, you have to put in like this. If you want beyond small, right, you put in like this. If you want it for XXL screen size and beyond, you put in like this. So that's the breakpoint. Anything that comes after breakpoint is followed by the breakpoint, right? So that's how this works, and in the next video we'll look into more options with columns and rows and see how we can go about making different shapes, different giving different sizes to each and everything. So in this one we studied, we checked out what is column. By default it gives the entire space, available space. We have seen a column with auto. It gives the space as much space as the text takes, right? And we have seen column with numbers 1 to 12, right? And this works by giving that much part of screen. And if we want to divide and if we want to give restrict it only for large screen size or beyond certain screen size, then we add in the breakpoint, something like LG or MD, and then give the number, right, 1 through 12, any number. So it will work for screens beyond that breakpoint, works for screens beyond the breakpoint that is mentioned, right? And it won't work for the ones below that. It will again use auto or something like that for below that breakpoint, right? And we'll look into more things in the coming videos. See you there.